How many words should your blog post be to be search engine optimized, also called SEO, for Google? My name is Jacob of Jacob Ellie Video Production, and I will be covering this topic in depth. I'll go into a number of different lengths and what those would be ideal for, and I will cover, the optimal length to make your articles to rank really well on Google. Now, I do want to get started by saying that really you don't want to try to stretch out your content or make it way different than it's meant to be. If you're giving a short little answer and it should be 400 words, don't try to stretch it out and pad it to be something like 2,000 words, because that's just not going to be a good reader experience. You want your readers to get the information in an efficient way and to feel like their questions were answered incredibly well. However, if your articles are just a couple hundred words, you'll want to think about some topics you can cover with a whole lot more depth. Because you have to think about things from Google's perspective. They want their customers to have a great experience. So if the customer searches for video marketing, this is actually a search term I'd love to rank for. The article on that is something like 11,000 words. It would take about 40 minutes to get through. However, it's really well organized. So for people who are just interested in one part, they can just click to go to that section, but it goes through finding the right cameras and social networks and basically taking people from starting at the very, very beginning and taking them to the very end of their journey, so people can, still find the section they want, but they can go through that entire thing in full. And this is really becoming more and more common. If you're curious about what's already ranking for the search terms you're looking for, go take a look at what type of content is ranking. Oftentimes, it's something a lot more in depth, that is 3,000 words or more. If you're comparing, Shark vacuums versus Dyson, the person, they don't want to go to a short little article with a tiny bit of information and then bounce back and then go to another article and that has a little more and then bounce back and then this person has something different. If you can provide, every nitty-gritty detail and a comparison between those two, super in depth, that could be a long post, and it could be something that your goal basically is to give people all of the information that they want with your post. You don't want people to feel unfulfilled and try to bounce back and find someone else's take on this. You want to go through that whole journey with them, which often takes quite a few words, quite a bit of content, a lot of comparison, but people will love you for it. So for me, articles that are 3,000 words or more is what I shoot for, especially when I go after, more challenging search terms. But with other articles, 1,000 words can work really well. I do want to take a topic that I can go into with a little bit of depth, and only if it's a very quick update or something that should be just really quickly explained do I only do a couple hundred words. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this answered the question really well. Please leave me a comment, ask me any questions, and like I said, it's a great resource to be able to look at your competition, see what they're writing, see what you're going up against, because that right now is what Google thinks is the best answer to the questions people are asking. And your goal is to be in that number one spot or, in the top set of options. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the bell for notifications. Please subscribe. I will see you in the next video.